change your attitude and start working hard. Get it? Don't go out of this university without memorizing the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it is not difficult at all. It's all about strategy. It's all about high determination. It's all about you understanding the virtue and the promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala if you are to master the knowledge. Get it? There are strategies to be followed for you to finish the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala before you graduate. There is no contradiction between the knowledge of dunya you get in the university, whatever university you are studying, not only UI, and the memorization of the book of Allah. Why do I start with it? Because it is the key to all knowledges. Without Quran, you will never succeed in learning. Is that clear? So Quran should be the first thing, right? Have a very excellent strategy. If I am to help you in that regard, I will give you these principles, and please do apply them and be patient. Number one, for somebody who wants to memorize the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the first thing that you have to have is the sincerity, ikhlas. Ikhlas is needed in every knowledge because only through ikhlas you can preserve the knowledge. With no ikhlas, knowledge could not be preserved. Imam Malik, when he wrote his book Al-Muwatta, get it? Imam Malik, when he wrote his book Al-Muwatta, is one of the earliest book written concerning the matter of the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When he wrote that book, Imam Shafi'i says there was no book on earth that is greater than the book of Imam Malik Muwatta. Because in those days, Bukhari and Muslim does not even exist. Most likely they are not even born yet. So he wrote an excellent book, get it? Talking about the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and its preservation and the way it should be understood. When he wrote that, he has his own rivals. As usual, you have students also who are your rivals, your classmates. They always challenge you. So people start writing Muwatta. Everyone write a book, Muwatta, 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 Muwatta. So the student of Imam Malik went to him. They told him, Imam, you have wasted your time. You have written a book, you get it, which took a lot of your time, but now everyone is writing Muwatta. It was supposed to be the only book on earth, but now we have a lot of Muwattas also. He told them, don't worry. You will know by Allah in the future that only that which is written for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will remain. Today, if you say Muwatta, the first Muwatta that will come to the mind of a student is what? Muwatta of Imam Malik. Do you know Muwatta of Abdurrahman bin Abi Dhib? That one used to fight Imam Malik like, I don't know how to describe them. And they are both scholars, not only scholars, great scholars. Abdurrahman ibn Abi Dhib is very great scholar and a very pious person. We hope, inshallah, he was like that in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The king says, I used to be afraid of him more than the way I'm afraid of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's Ibn Abi Dhib. Very strong in his piety and very strong in the knowledge, but he used to fight his friend Imam Malik. That was the fatwa he gave. He said, if Imam Malik did not make tawbah in his fatwa, his head should be cut off. That's the reason why scholars said, and this is also for all of us, the scholars said, كلام الأقران يطوى ولا يروى. The criticism that usually happens among the scholars themselves, those colleagues, those friends, you get it, classmates, they used to criticize themselves. They said, يطوى ولا يروى. You folded it, you listen to him, kicking this scholar, like what we hear nowadays, talking about this, talking about that, you just smile. When he finished, just narrate the correct one. Let him finish his criticism. Just fold it, but you don't narrate it to others. Because if I have, let's say, Abdullah, right? Let's say Abdullah is my Sheikh. And don't remind me your name. Sadman is also my Sheikh. If you remind me, then the example will be fake. Okay. So Sadman is my Sheikh and Sheikh also is my Sheikh. But they fight each other. If I follow Abdullah, that means the knowledge which Sadman has, I'm going to lose it. And if I listen to Sadman, I'm going to lose the knowledge that is supposed to be given to me by Abdullah. That's why the scholars said, as long as both scholars are upon the right way, leave them with their fights, with their battles. You just go and benefit from each other. The point is, both of them are sound and okay. Is that clear? So the first thing is what? Ikhlas. We don't say those scholars who wrote Muwatta are not sincere in their writings. No, we don't claim that. But the point is, they wrote the book because Imam Malik has written. The intention might be good, but we're trying to imitate Imam Malik in that. Imam Malik was not tracing anyone. He was trying just to compile the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ just for the sake of Allah so that it will not disappear. Yahi, when you write a book of hadith. Don't call it Muwatta. Call it something else. Why Muwatta? After you know that somebody has written Muwatta also, from the beginning. Wallahu alam, that might be the reason why nowadays we don't know any other Muwatta. They have Muwattas written by scholars, but we don't know them that much. You need to go to the library and search. They were there. Until now, they were there. But the only one that is known up to date is that of Imam Malik. So that's sincerity. Whatever you learn for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it will be very difficult for it to be taken away from you. That's the first. We're talking about strategies to memorize the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? I give you 4 conditions. Number 1 is the ikhlas. Number 2 is commitment, high determination, ulul himma. To have a schedule. What I mean by that is to have a schedule and to be very persistent and strong in following that which you decided to follow. Okay, you say to yourself, every day I will memorize 10 lines. There shall be no day in which you will not memorize these 10 lines, regardless of what. You are ill, you're okay. These 10 lines have to be memorized. Unless if you cannot talk. Because if you have a break during the memorization of the Quran, before you are able to catch up that energy, you get that interest you have in memorization of the book of Allah, you have to pay the price first. That's why our scholars used to say, don't you ever have a break. Don't take a break at all. Unless if that break is part of your schedule. Get it? So interest, high interest is be there. You get the idea? Ulul himma, commitment. You get it? Quran needs commitment, especially when it comes to the revision. Condition number 3, patience. Patience. This one is really necessary. The day you say, I'm going to take the advice of my Sheikh to memorize Quran, it's just like you are telling Shaitan, I declare a war with you. He will start fighting you harder than that. Believe it or not, the moment you open the Quran to memorize it, the moment you just open, fatigue will come. Sleep will come. Why when you are not with Quran, it doesn't come? Because Shaitan knows this is the most important, the way to protect yourself from his deception. And Allah is going to use you, as somebody whom he used to preserve his own book. So it's the highest status you're going to be qualifying. Shaitan will never like that. And as such, he will bring fatigue. He will bring weariness. He will bring anything to distract you from that. That's why I say patience, right? You really need patience. Can I give you one secret about Shaitan? Say yes. Yes. Okay. You know, Shaitan doesn't have time to stay with you forever. Shaitan is very busy. Very busy. So he will have time with you to come and distract you for a while. If you resist, Shaitan will come back again. You resist, he will come back again. You resist, no time to waste with you. He will move to some other activities. That's why it is really necessary not to show weakness. Patience is needed. You start feeling the weariness, keep it on. You start feeling asleep, stand up and walk. After a few minutes, 15 to 30 minutes, he's going to give up. And then you will enjoy the reading, right? Patience throughout the period of memorization. The last condition is gradual process, taking that which you memorize gradually. This one is necessary. You have to memorize it gradually. It shouldn't take a lot. If you take a lot, you're going to leave it all. The scholar said, "Ma dakhala kulluhu kharaja kulluhu," and it's very wrong also to memorize it like that, because it will be very quick in terms of going away from you. When you memorize gradually, when the Quran is going away from you, it will keep on going also gradually. By the time, before it goes out completely, you realize that Quran is going, you will come and bring it back. But if you take it, you put it at once, it will go also at once. Then you have to bring it from the beginning. Do you get the idea? So patience is needed, and you have to take it gradually. It means you go with a small amount and go increase a bit by bit after passage of time when you feel the interest is stronger than the one before. This one is really necessary. Get it? Because many people have tried the other way, they lost everything in the future. One of my scholars said, I advise somebody to memorize Quran He asked me, what should I do? I said, memorize one ayah every day. I said, Sheikh, no, that's so little. This is for the children and kids. He said, I met him after 1 year. I asked him, how about your memorization now? He smiled. He told me, Sheikh, unfortunately, Allahumma musta'an, I'm nowhere. Sheikh said, do you know, if you take my advice, had you took my advice from the beginning, now you have around how many juzu? Just one ayah every day. You get it, 360, right? Okay. You're going to have a lot of ajza. So that's Quran. When you go slowly, gradually, don't take a lot. For those of you who are very new, get it in the memorization, I would suggest 5 lines. Get it? 5 lines. Don't take more than that. Lines, not ayah. 5 lines, line like this. Okay, don't take ayahs, not 5 ayahs, because one ayah sometimes is 1 page. Right? You're going to get bored. But take 5 lines is very little. So that means in a day, even if 5 lines is so strong and so difficult, make it 3 lines. Don't worry about that. Don't say, no, this is so little. No, don't worry about that. Just take 3 lines. Next day, 3 lines. You're going to finish a page in 5 days. Is it a deficiency? No, not at all. It's not efficiency. Every day, 3 lines, 3 lines, 3 lines every day. 3 lines every day until you get it done. So these are the conditions I usually advise the students when they ask me about how to memorize the Book of Allah. You must make sure that you have these. You get it? They are applicable on every knowledge, but we apply them on the Quran more than anything else. How to memorize? I take 30 seconds for that, inshallah. The time to memorize is after Fajr. Don't you ever memorize any other time except after Fajr. Unless if you have some excuses after Fajr, but the best time to memorize Quran is after Fajr. That moment you're fresh, then you engage in the memorization. Bismillah ta'ala, it will be very strong. That's the first. That's the time to memorize after Fajr. How to memorize also, I have my own method. As I told some of the students, every method given to you by a scholar of the Quran is okay. It just asks you to apply it in the way he prescribed, then you will succeed in that. Every scholar has his own method. But I prefer this one. It's very difficult, but it's very reliable. Get it? Whoever follow that will cry, but then will enjoy, will come and say, thank you very much afterwards, after the cry. Get it? It's very difficult. Which is to break down the ayah into pieces. Get it? I want to memorize وَاتَّبَعُوا مَا تَتْلُو الشَّيَاطِينُ عَلَى مُلْكِ سُلَيْمَانَ, a long ayah in Surah Al-Baqarah. Some people, they will keep reading the whole ayah until they memorize it. Get it? I found this one to be very shaky and very weak in terms of strength. So what do? You cut it into pieces. Get that ayah. وَاتَّبَعُوا مَا تَتْلُو الشَّيَاطِينُ عَلَى مُلْكِ سُلَيْمَانَ. You stop here. You keep repeating it with high speed. And in memorization, you just need one type of tajweed. Tajweed, the beautification of the letters. You just need one type. The tajweed that is wajib, which is to make sure that the pronunciation of the letters is correct. Other kind of beautification, this one, leave them. When you finish the Quran, then you can come and apply that. Because you need the speed, and you need the speed. Got it? You need the speed. If you're going to apply the tajweed in the way it is, then the speed cannot be, the memorization cannot be maintained on time. You're going to spend the whole day trying those 5 lines, and it will not come. So you need the speed. That's why in memorization, high speed is necessary. Loud voice, when I say loud voice, I don't mean you shout, but at least you hear that which you're reciting. And also high speed is necessary. In such a way, if somebody is next to you, he might say, what exactly are you reading? Is that Quran or something else? You tell him, keep quiet. Sure. When I become Hafiz, come and ask. Then I will tell you what I was doing. So you just read very quickly. So that وَاتَّبِعُوا مَا تَتْلُو الشَّيَاطِينُ عَلَى مُلْكِ سُلَيْمَانَ, you read it a lot until the time you feel that now is okay. Then you move to the next part of that ayah. You get it? And there we go. After you do the next part of the ayah, before you move to the third one, you come back to the first one and read it without looking at the Quran. Connect it with the second one first. And then you move to the third one. Do it like that until you are sure, 100%. That's means you're going to read it 100 times, 200 times, 300 times in 2-3 seconds. Believe it or not, you will be able to do that in 2-3 seconds. That's why I remember a moment I can memorize 4 pages in 1 hour. Every 15 minutes, a page will come. Yeah, that was the time I memorized the whole surah. Even the scholars I was using, that one of them doesn't believe. He was talking to some people. Look at this. He's trying to convince us that he finished this surah at this moment of time. Read. And then I read it. They couldn't believe. Was that a miracle? No. It's something that everyone can do. Otherwise, I'll become, mashallah, big wali. You have to pay a lot for you to see me, right? That's those fake awliya. This is what they do, right? So anyway, that is nothing special. It is the capacity Allah SWT granted every human being, but unfortunately, we don't use it. Wallahi, I believe every one of us is actually greater than that. But the brain, you see the brain, the more you use it, the more stronger it is. That's why they said the greatest people who memorize more than anybody else, they are the villagers. Because they have no any other option. They don't even know how to write. Get it? And nowadays we have MP3, MP4, MP5. I don't know whether we have 6 or not, but we have a lot of things to look at this one. If you bring somebody from the village, he doesn't know what it means. So they use their brain. That's why it's so strong. You also, if you use it, it will be like that. Is that clear? So that's how you memorize an ayah until you finish the ayah. Then you move to the second ayah. Before you move to the second ayah, read the first one without looking to make sure that it is there. And believe it or not, this is going to be done in few seconds. You can finish it. I will be firmly established in your heart. So after you finish, you are done with this. And then whenever you have time in the same day, you just take your Quran and read that one that you memorize in the morning. Whenever you have time. Do you get an idea? Whenever you have time, and you do have a time, I know that. Get it taken and read. It takes from you 1 or 2 minutes, and then finish, done. Next time also you have a time, read it before you sleep. The last thing to be done is to read that ayah, that part of the Quran you memorize in the morning before you sleep, and then sleep upon that. Right after you wake up, after Fajr prayer, the first wajib is to recite that which you memorized yesterday without looking at the Quran to make sure it is there. Then you go to the next one. Do you get an idea? This is in brief how to do it. It's going to become a lot. Then every day before you memorize the new one, after you read the last one you memorized what do you call the day before this Fajr, after you revise it, you make sure it is there. Before you move to the new one, you revise the old one, all of it. You get it? And then you move. So you're going to have like almost every day, across the age of your memorization, almost every day you revise that which you memorize in certain moment of time. So this is some of the principles that I use them and I succeeded, and I advise also people they succeeded. Alhamdulillah, there's a school we opened up to date since I was 14. You get it? That school up to date, it is still in existence. And I graduated, alhamdulillah. Some of my students that I taught since they were young, nowadays they take care of the school, and they're still using somehow the same method. People are graduating from the school with the whole Quran in their brain. So the idea is, in the future, you might face a problem that will not give you a chance to read Quran. You get it? Then that kind of memorization you have, I'm telling you, will help you to keep Quran. When you come back to it, you will find it.